Okay, this video is going to have two essential questions. The first one is, how do I find the equation of a parabola given the focus and directrix? So in this case, we're going to be given a focus and directrix, and from that we have to find the equation. And we can use a graph to make that fairly straightforward. Find the equation of a parabola with a focus at -2, 3 and a directrix at y equals -1, then graph it. So our first step here, class, is to plot and label the focus and directrix. So we've got a focus at -2, excuse me, -2 and +3, and I'm going to label that with an F so we know that's our focus. We've got a directrix at y equals -1. So let's go ahead and draw a line where y is always -1, which is right here. And I'm going to go ahead and make that a dashed line. Just use a little trick here to make that a dashed line. Alright, and let's label that D for our directrix. That's step 1. Step 2, plot the vertex. That's exactly in between the focus and directrix. Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 units between the focus and directrix. That means the vertex is going to be 2 units away from the focus. So I'm going to go ahead and label that as a vertex. Remember, class, we've probably discussed this in class already. With a parabola being built from a focus and directrix, the parabola will never cross the directrix. Never. It will always go the opposite direction or wrap around the focus. So I know this parabola is going to be facing up. It says plot the vertex to find h and k. So our vertex is at -2, +1. That means h is -2 and k is +1. Oh, -2, yeah, -2, +1. That is correct. Okay, so there is our vertex. The next step, find the p-value. That's the distance from the vertex to the focus. Well, we can take a look right here. We can see our p-value is actually 2. The distance from the vertex to the focus. So our p-value is equal to 2, and we know that's going to be positive because this parabola is opening up. Next step, in order to write our equation, we're going to have to know the a value. We know that a is equal to 1/4 times p, which is 1/4 times 2, which is 1/8. Well, now we've got h, we've got k, and we've got a, and that means we can write our equation. Our equation will always start with vertex form. Y equals a times x minus h plus k. So y equals 1/8. There's our a value. Our h value is -2. We're going to flip the sign to put it in vertex form. And then our k value, we keep the sign, that is +1. And then the last thing is to graph this, because it's asking us, should be asking us to graph it. Yep, it says then graph it. Don't miss that part. Remember, to graph it, you're going to plot points that are 2 times the absolute value of p units to the left and right of the focus. So our p value is 2, so 2 times 2 is 4. So we're going to go ahead and plot. Let's take a look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 units to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4 units to the left. And now when you sketch your parabola, you're going to sketch it through the vertex and through those points. There's one side, and here's the other side of our parabola. Let's go a little further on that. Going to make it even with the first one, and there we go. That looks really bad. I'm not going to live with that. Let's see if I can fix that. There we go. So there is our sketched parabola. And remember, class, you always have the vertex. All you have to do to draw a reasonably accurate parabola is to graph 2 more points to the left and right of the focus, and the distance you're going to go left and right is 2 times the absolute value of p. So there is the first question. Let's go to the next one. New essential question. How do I find the equation of a parabola given its graph? So the first one, we're given the focus and directrix, and we're being asked to find the equation. In this case, we're going to find the equation of a parabola if we are given the graph. So here is our graph. Let's see if we can figure out what we need to know. Well, first step is label the focus and directrix. All right. Well, our focus is right here. Our directrix is right here. And we know the coordinate of our vertex. Our vertex is right here. And our vertex is at, let me change color there so we can see a little difference. Our vertex in this case is at 0. There's no movement on the x-axis, and +1. 0, +1. That means our h value is 0 and our k value is 1. Next step, find the p value, the distance from the vertex to the focus. Well, that's right here. And if you look, it's 1, 2, 3 units, but realize that this is a downward facing parabola. It cannot cross the directrix. It's going to wrap around the focus, and that means our p value has to be a negative value, is -3. And just a little note, it's because our parabola faces down. Okay, and then next part is, we already know h and k, we know p. Now we can actually find the a value. The a value is found with the equation 1/4 times p, which is 1/4 times -3, which is 1/-12. We can put the negative sign out front, -1/12. Now we've got everything we need to write our equation. Always start with vertex form, y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. Our a value is -1/12. That makes sense, -a, because the parabola opens down. Now, take a look at this. We have an h value of 0. That means we can just write x squared here. We don't have to write x minus 0 squared. We can just get rid of the 0. X squared, then our k value is +1. There is an equation written from a graph where they give us the focus and the directrix.